Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissack.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana. Good to see you.
You too. First of all, I've been watching those teasers. I can't believe that neither one of y'all, Kate, you two, told me I sit way too close to the camera. So I was like, I'm going to back all the way up. My face is so much bigger than yours in those videos.
You know what's funny is, it's funny you should say that, because for a long time I was like, okay, something's wrong. I'm one of those people, I care, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
So I'll just go and then I'll figure out later, good Lord, why did the camera stop on that look on my face? Or why? And I said to Zoe one day, why does it look like I'm looking where I'm looking? And Dana looks like she's looking in the right place. So, but for a long time, I didn't even pay attention. But I'm like, okay, this stuff probably matters. I need to pay more attention.
Oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, okay, well, I'm scooting back today. So
let's put it this way. The older you get, the farther back you want to be.
Yeah. Okay, well, I definitely am going to take that.
That's my beauty tip for the day.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to hear.
But again, you and I love Mel Robbins because she don't even care if her hair is messed up or whatever. Because
no, she gets on looking like she just rolled out of bed and she'll hit 6 million views.
I know. What's wrong with us? We're just way too put together. We got to rumple some hair a little bit.
Okay, so one, I had to tell you that. Two, I want to know how the challenge was. And I think her name was Jody. Was there a Jody on? I'm trying to think. I sent this lady from Oklahoma. If she wasn't on, then she's got to do the next one. But yeah.
I'll have to think about that for a second. I have to go through my mental.
Okay. It doesn't matter. But how was it?
Okay. So first of all, this is a lesson for everybody. Okay. When you get a calling on your life to do something bigger, and, I always said by about last November, God started sending people to me in droves that I had read the 10X Easier and 2X. And so I was doing all these one-on-one hour calls with people who had reached out to me. Cause you and I both we'll just want to help everybody. And I finally said, okay, God, I think you're telling me something. I had probably started years ago, never could really figure out what would I do on the internet that I really like, that's more my style, that's, I don't have to be not me to do it, all that stuff. So over the years, I've kind of gotten a little glimpses of what would work. But finally, I thought, okay, I got to figure this out. I mean, I can't keep taking 1 hour calls with everybody. And I love doing it. So it wasn't a fact I didn't love doing it, but I'm like, I got all these other things I need to be doing. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to figure out how to do this online program. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about it. And how, this is what I just told the group, when you decide to do something bigger than you are, okay, everything's going to start flooding at you. Obstacles, limiting beliefs, all the things. And I just decided, I don't care what comes up in my head. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm just going to be faithful. I do feel like this is put on my heart by God. I do feel like I'm going to follow through, and I'm just going to have faith, and it's not going to be without troubles, and it's not going to be smooth sailing, best thing ever right off the bat. I'm going to run up against obstacles. But like I always say in the group, I feel like an obstacle or a no is just a test to see how bad you want something, and not necessarily a sign you should stop. And some people, the pastor I listened to today, we talked about that some people, they think that once they become a Christian, it's up and to the right always. And it's not, it's more, he says it's more like a coil, right? Ups and downs and ups and downs. And so I thought, I just remember, I know that to be true. So I said, okay, I don't care what limiting belief comes up. I don't care what obstacles come up. We're just going to set a date and we're going to do it. So that's what we did. And every single time, I've rolled out the challenge 3 times now.
This is the third, right? Yeah.
This is the third. And the first one was way more successful than I thought it was going to be. Second one was not so successful. But and all the way, guess what? That caused more limiting beliefs. Yeah. But then I would get a confirmation from somebody that had signed up for the program. And I think, oh, okay, God, I remember this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And just when I would get really down and think, man, what was I thinking? Should I have done this even? Then I would do it and I would love it. And I think, man, this is what I was born to do. I can so help people. And, but still, even up until the day of this challenge, because there's so much pressure that I put on myself because I want to deliver. I want to make sure that their value is there.
Yeah.
And then of course I get to the fourth day and I'm like, thank you, Lord. This is so good. You sent me exactly the people you were supposed to send me. They were amazing people.
Awesome.
It's so good. Yeah. I get so filled up by doing it. But it is stressful because I'm up every morning at 4, preparing, looking through everything, thinking about what they said the day before. And are they giving me something that I haven't, tried to figure out how to help them solve? I mean, it's just so good. So it was great. And then Austin was on there today and he's so sweet. He said, I told Dana last time that I took this, you were charging way too little. You should charge a lot more. So I thought, well, Dana didn't tell me that, darn it.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, okay. Before we move on to what we're going to talk about though, like I have really been trying to think of and pray about strategic people to push to the challenge who I think would be really good in it. But if people are listening and they are like, wait a minute, I don't know what you're talking about. For one, they can go to lindamckissick.com and get the information. Right. I think we shared that last time. But like, who specifically is it for?
Honestly, you know what, Dana, what I have decided, the word that I'm here to own is complacency.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the cost of complacency.
Yeah.
And every single person that seems to resonate with the message and come into the challenge, well, some don't have a clue. Somebody else, like Terry told her girl this time, you need to do this, because her husband David had done it before, and she said this is exactly what you need, because she was kind of stuck. And so it's stuck. It's people that they're not successful, they're not failing, they're just stalled, they're burnt out, they're stuck, they're complacent, and most people don't ever assign a cost to what complacency cost them. It costs them really the next transformation that they really should be having, right? Yeah. And so that's what I feel like is kind of resonating with the message and being attractive. So they've got some success.
Yep.
They feel like there's more. There's a nudge inside of them. There's a discomfort inside of them that they can't quite put their name on and what it is. And it's where complacency has set in and they've just kind of stalled and they're not really sure, they haven't really put a cost on what that cost of staying where they are is actually costing them, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. That's so good. And I'm sure, I don't know if anybody, you know what I meant to tell, gosh, I have so many things I need to tell you. The people listening are like, we don't care about what Dana's updates are for Linda, but we talked about this. I taught FSO this week in Boston, and we just had the best room and it was so great. But also a lady named Linda was there and she has known you for years and loves you. And she's in Uvalde region, South Florida region.
Okay. Well, did she used to be a team leader?
I think so. Maybe. I'm trying to think of her last name, but she came up to me afterwards and she said, we need to take a selfie for Linda. But anyway, it was, so she said to say hi to you, but it was funny because you know what I do. I find myself like we get on a topic and then I'm like, well, here, I have a story that Linda taught me about that. Or I have a story that I know Linda did about this. And then finally halfway through, I said, will you just actually raise your hand if you don't know who Linda McKissack is? And like 5 people raised their hand. And I was like, oh, okay, good. But a lot of what the conversation was around, even at FSO, was like, I don't know if I should keep going, or I don't know when to give up versus not when to give up. And I don't know if, I'm like on the cusp of something or if I'm a has-been, I mean, it was just like, it's like people are really struggling with that.
Gosh, Dana, I love that. And I know, and I even, after I watched the sermon this morning, God kind of put something on my heart to say, honestly, even complacency in our faith is costly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Complacency in every area of our life is costly. The other thing too, is I would say to those people is, when they start to feel that way, they're not evolving to the next level. They're just at the same place. Yeah. And the same place gets old and boring and it's not exciting and it's not rejuvenating and it's not, scary and exciting at the same time.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people feel stuck, but I'm excited to see the new FSO. I can't wait. I probably need to go. I'm probably due to go back anyway. So I
Oh,
can't wait.
good. Well, make sure you come when I'm teaching it, because
Yes,
I mean,
I will.
I'll just be like, well, look, she's here, so she can just tell you all the stories.
I'm excited. Oh, but that reminds me, Dana, I am going to do this. So if you hear team leaders or OPs or whatever, I am going to invite OPs and team leaders in, because the last two challenges I've had, the OP or the team leader told them they should come to it.
Great.
Yeah. So I'm going to let the team leaders sit in so that
Great.
they can see and understand what it is. That way, when they're talking to their agents, they know exactly which ones need to sign
Love
up for
it.
the challenge.
Yeah, I think that is so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really smart. Wait, well, well, no, it's probably too short notice. I was going to say the RD meeting in July, that's in person. I'm teaching the FSO the 2 days that butt up against that, but there's several for the rest of the year. But the material is, honestly, it's great. I mean, we had the best conversation. And then the next update before we get into our principles, which this was just funny, I was going to tell you, but we have longtime listener, longtime fan, I think she's listened from my very first episode, Maria DePoce. I always say her last name wrong, but she's just great. She was team leader for one of my favorite OPs in all of Keller Williams, Dick LaCarre in Texas.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And Linda, I got to tell you, I brought him up at the end to talk about multiple market center. He brought the house down, the whole room. He got a standing ovation like 3 times. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, so incredible. But I had posted a picture on my Instagram of me interviewing him, and Maria responded and said, he's amazing. Everything I know, I learned from him, because she was his team leader for a while. But then she said, wait a minute. And then her next thing said, well, Dick and you and Linda from the podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She said, everything I know in life, I know from the 3 of y'all. I'm like, well, that's so sweet.
Well, we got to up our game if they're getting their life lessons from us.
I know. We really have to up our game. But
a lot of people liked the bucket list last time. So we're going through, for those of you that are just now joining us, we're actually going through Chris Hodges' book, Legacy Letters. Yep. So good. There's so many great lessons. And it's so funny because some of them are not new, but I love some of the twist he puts on them. Yeah. And I love the letters at the end.
Yes, me too. Yes, very much. So today we're going to go over 2 more. And the first one is the gratitude principle, and the second one is the glass house principle. Both just really good ones.
Yes.
The gratitude one, I mean, obviously this is sort of self-explanatory, but when you practice gratitude, your abundance always outweighs your lack. And he said that in the very beginning, and I love that. And he tells a little story about his mama on his dad's side, but she lived to be 97. And he said that she lived really well, and she really left a mark on him because she, had all kinds of health problems and medical problems, and worked 2 jobs. And his grandfather was killed in a car accident when his dad was just 1 year old. But he said that all throughout her 97 years, as long as he was alive, he never heard her complain one time. And that anytime you asked her how she was doing, her reply was always, I'm better off than most. And he said she focused on what she had, not what she lacked. And that's really what gave him kind of the whole idea of the gratitude principle, because it's just a decision, that you wake up every day and make, or you don't make. And I thought, okay, wow, that's inspiring. And it's just such a great reminder.
Yeah, I love that he said, I mean, and honestly, people like that. Mm-hmm. And you think, gosh, how can they be so grateful for everything? But I mean, biblically even says, in all things, period. Not some things, period, all things, right? Yeah. But that's so much harder to do. So that says a lot to her character that she was able to do that.
Yeah.
And I love the part where it says one of the best ways to grow is simply start saying thank you more often.
Yes.
Thank your team, thank your family, thank the people behind the scenes. Gratitude multiplies trust. Yeah. And you will become a person others are thankful to know and learn from.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I love that. I underline that too. Actually got what he said right before that too. He said ungrateful people frequently act out of insecurity. They hoard credit. They feed on comparison. They chase the next milestone like enough is never enough, which we've talked about before. But he said, on the other hand, grateful people share generously. They praise others publicly. They live with open hands. They're secure in themselves, and they know how to build up others and collaborate. They choose to focus on what's present rather than what's absent, which I really like. But it made me just kind of think like, how we've talked about this before on the podcast, but when you see somebody, that's around you do something, like you're either make the decision to say like, gosh, wow, well, I'm really jealous that they have that or that they do that, or like, oh, they don't deserve that, or like, okay, well, if they can do that, then I can do that. Or it's like, it's kind of that. And I feel like that has a piece of the gratitude principle in it. It's truthfully reframing your mindset. Because you have the choice to reframe it or not.
Well, and I think too, looking at it as they're winning at something. Thank you for winning at something because you showed me it's possible.
That's right.
You showed me a path.
That's exactly right. Yes. Yeah. One of my favorite things he said in this on this principle was practicing the gratitude principle. I think this is on page 54. It reframes the mindset from not enough to already blessed. And that's a great mindset shift, no matter kind of where you are in life or what you have going on, or any of that, like not enough in your work life, not enough in your marriage, not enough in your family, not enough in your wealth, whatever, to already blessed. Like that is you feel different when you think each of those things.
Yeah. And I think even if you don't, it's kind of like what I heard one of the pastors say the other day, even when you don't feel like worshiping, you should worship because of what you will get from worshiping. I think the same thing about gratitude. Even if it feels fake or phony when you're just saying it about something, I think it's good for you to do it anyway because you cultivate a crucial personal strength. And over time, that will become more natural. Even if it's like, well, I'm not feeling very grateful right now. Okay, well, let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just work that muscle until it just becomes a personal strength that you have.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he said straight that in the book. Gratitude isn't something you feel, it's something you do. Even if you don't feel like it, you can still choose to practice being grateful. And he gives a couple little things. Start each day with Thanksgiving, like every morning list 3 things that you're grateful for. Express gratitude to others. Take time to actually thank people for the impact that they've had on your life. Keep a gratitude journal. That's something I've always wanted to do and have never really got in the habit of doing. But shift complaints to thanks instead of I have to do this, I get to do this. And then view challenges as growth opportunities. Every difficulty holds a blessing. And so just, what is this teaching me instead of why is this happening to me?
Yeah. I love that. View challenges as growth opportunities. And I think even being grateful for people that are difficult in your life.
Yeah.
Because, they're stretching you, they're growing you. They might be trying to show you something inside yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. I love on here. He said, inspire others. We radiate humility and peace in a wonderful world full of noise.
Yeah.
Build strong relationships. We genuinely value people and recognize effort. Withstand the pressure. Gratitude grounds us when everything feels like it's spinning, and it helps us to become more resourceful. We focus on what we have instead of what we lack. I love those things that he put there.
That's so good about the spinning thing. I mean, that's true. Very, very true. I think he said something around, I'm trying to find it, about it steadied the soul. Yes. Gratitude has a steadying effect on the soul. It doesn't pretend everything's okay. It's just simply that you see the good that still exists. And in his letter at the end, the very last sentence was like my favorite thing in there. He said, gratitude doesn't change your life. It lets you finally see the one you already have.
Yeah. And I don't know where I heard this story, but I heard the story and I can't remember right now the name of the person, but people listening might know the sisters that were put in the concentration camp.
Yes.
We didn't even hear that story recently, but it fits so well in here. Maybe it's in here. Maybe he said it. I don't know. But it's where the one sister was so ungrateful for the fleas that were in the concentration camp. And then
the fleas were keeping the mice away or something?
The fleas were keeping the guards out, and that way they could have a Bible study.
Oh, wait, I read that too, or remember hearing that too. Is that in this book?
I don't know if it's in this book or maybe we listened to the same preacher. Maybe I'll send you that sermon.
Yeah, maybe so. Cause I remember just hearing that.
Yeah. Because the truth is she was complaining about the fleas, and that's where the sister reads to her in the Bible where it says to be grateful in all things, have joy in all things, period, all things. And so they begin to be able to witness to other people in the concentration camp. And if the fleas hadn't been there, the guards would have been coming in. And she asked a guard later when they got out, why did the guards never come in? And he said, because y'all's place had fleas.
Isn't that wild? I mean,
Yeah.
that is, though. That's such a great example of that.
Yeah. So you never know, even the crap that's happening to you that you don't feel like you can be grateful for,
Yeah.
maybe serving a bigger purpose for later.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. Yeah, he said you can always appreciate everything that you already have. You won't always have everything you want, but you can always appreciate what you have. And this also always brings me back to in the Bible when Jesus heals the 10 lepers, but only one comes back to say thank you. And he's like, well, wait, where's the rest of your friends? Like all of them. You know what I mean? I think I've told you that before. And my prayer has always been, I will always, be the one to say, come back and say thank you. Because it's just important.
Yeah. He says, don't wait for the big moments to be thankful. Most of life isn't lived there anyway. Be grateful for the small, quiet gifts, a hot shower, a shared laugh, a full tank of gas, a kind word, a deep breath when you didn't think you had one left.
Yeah.
And gratitude doesn't change your life. It lets you finally see the one you already have.
Yeah. Love that. So good. So good. Yeah. That's a good one. That's such a great one. The next one, Linda, I just thought, I feel like they should teach this in school.
Yeah, no kidding.
The glass house principle. It made me think a little bit. It's all about living with integrity as one whole and undivided person. And he says, when I was a teenager, someone gave me advice that changed the way I live. Live like there's no such thing as a secret. And as soon as I read that, I thought, like, maybe we should be telling the kids are so great. Like, they're the greatest kids. But, should we be telling kids that earlier? Or, because you, make all these stupid, dumb choices. Or at least I did when I was younger. And, you can make up for it later. But I just loved this whole glass house principle. And all I kept thinking is, I wish I would have learned this earlier in life. Like, when I was younger.
Well, what I think of when I think of this too is the quote that says, you can work a lifetime to build up your reputation and tear it down in 5 minutes.
Yes. Or one decision. Yeah.
Whatever, or one act.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people don't get. They think,
yep.
And especially nowadays, that's why I always laugh when I watch those detective movies. I'm like, are they stupid?
Yeah.
Don't they know that tracks their cell phone wherever they are? Don't they know that even though they delete something from the computer, it's still going to be there?
Totally.
Every once in a while, there'll be something on the TV. I said, don't do that on my name. That looks like a bad thing. That popped up or something. And I'm like, don't make sure my name's not on that Netflix if that comes up again. I didn't look at that or whatever it was. It's not bad. I mean, there's none of that kind of stuff on Netflix. I don't think so. But it'll just be one with not a good name or something. Yeah, don't do that.
I know exactly. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. This is such a random squirrel that's made me laugh so hard though. I'm thinking of this because Graham, my nephew that's going to marry Amelia in the arranged your granddaughter, when I went there, he can read like so great now and he's just so smart. And Chris left his phone in the truck and I guess Graham was, his phone started ringing or whatever. And he looked at it and then I saw him kind of make a weird face. And then Chris came back in the car and Graham said, Dad, your phone rang. And I don't know if it's very good or not. It said spam risk. And me and Chris just started rolling. Like he thought it was like something bad, like somebody bad was calling Chris. He said, I don't think it's very good or not. I don't know. It said spam risk. And I was like, oh my God.
That's so funny. Kids are so smart. I'm driving in the car with Adeline the other day, taking her to a movie. We were having me and her having a date. And we were going to the movies and I'm texting. Oh God, please forgive me.
Oh, I know.
I was trying to find I don't know what I was doing, but it was just going to be real quick. And she's like, Mimi, don't you think you should do that later? I'm like, yeah, out of the mouths of babe. Yes, you're right. I should do this later.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny.
One of the things he said too, this isn't just about avoiding a scandal. I think that everybody thinks of the big things. Well, I'm not murdering anybody. I'm not robbing a bank. But it's even just the little thing. It's about building something better, a life you don't have to hide, a
Mm-hmm.
glass house that won't shatter.
Yes, that was honestly one of the biggest things I took away, because you think scandal, but it's like little things. Like I like when he said you live aware, like you're not paranoid, you're intentional, you make different decisions. Most of all, you prioritize alignment between who you are in private and who you are in public. And I I have seen many different leaders honestly who are both of like one's one way, meaning okay, you take one and who you see in private is exactly who they are in public.
Yeah.
Then you take another person or leader and who they are in private is totally different than who they are in public. And it does make you say like, okay, well, let's like look and see if you feel like there's a lack of integrity there. Because what he said, this is so true, and I have experienced this with other people. He said people can handle imperfection, but they struggle to trust deception. And I do think that there's a big difference between like, okay, you make a mistake or whatever, and there's an imperfect situation, or are you like deceiving people and there's deception around it, and then there's just it's hard to trust again after that.
And this makes me think of, because every morning I'm listening to a different pastor, but to understand that they put things in place
Yeah.
to protect themselves. Like if
Oh,
they're, I've heard them saying, I don't go anywhere with the opposite sex on myself,
Yeah.
or when I get to a hotel room, I have to call one of my friends or ask them to take the TV out, or and I'm thinking, who are we to think we're beyond, something like that? But I think as a leader, it is better to explain to people that you're not without fault on things too.
Yeah.
And I think too, the other thing too is being willing to be honest with people. Because I know for me, like when I listen to Matt and he talks about, his struggles, it makes me feel better because we're not searching for this place of perfection. We're just always trying to be better, and we're just always trying to think, okay, even if nobody else sees, God sees, and that be a reminder that we shouldn't have anything that we wouldn't either say or do. I mean, this is a hard one, say or do with somebody watching, because sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, did that come out of my mouth?
Yeah. Yes.
Was I angry at someone over something I shouldn't have been? All those things.
Yeah, I think that all the time. I mean, he explains it perfectly. He said everyone has failures and flaws. Like, it's not about you being perfect. Like, obviously, nobody's perfect but Jesus. But he said on page 63,
Yes.
To live with integrity means you're one person, the same no matter who you are or who you're with, not divided, not split into different versions depending on who's watching. It means your values show in your calendar, your conversations, your relationships, and your decisions. It means the person you are in public matches the one you are in private. It doesn't mean that you're perfect. It means you're consistent, and consistency builds trust like nothing else.
Yeah, I love that. He also said everyone has failures and flaws. What ruins us isn't the mistake itself. It's the attempt to hide it. Secrets rot the soul.
Yeah. I remember one time, gosh, this was like, oh my gosh, maybe 10 years ago or so. But someone had like an issue and people were kind of talking about it. And somebody said, it's not the fact that you did it. It's the fact that you didn't come back with a contrite heart. Like that was said in a meeting. I'll never forget it. And I remember thinking, okay, that's actually true. Because I don't think anybody would really care. I mean, that much, but it was that there was not a contrite heart, about it. And so I think that, yeah, I don't know. It just made me think about that. Because you're, it's the whole isolation thing. Yeah, he gave some good things though. Ways you can do it: audit your life, like ask if everything about me became public, what would I be nervous about? Close the gap. It's not about being flawless. Your goal isn't perfection; it's authenticity. I love number 3: build an inner circle of truth tellers. You weren't meant to do this alone. Yeah, that was good.
I've heard the pastors say so much. All of them that I listen to, which is the best thing anyone can do is tell another Christian or someone that they can trust or whatever, because there's something about getting it out in the open that gives you a better chance, I guess, of healing from it or whatever. But that's probably the hardest one for most people to do, especially if it's been a secret for very long.
Oh,
But
I
it
would
says
think so.
integrity begins where the secrets end.
Yeah, that was good. I don't have that. I don't see that. Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. Number 4, decide in advance to align your choices with your values. This was
Mhm.
a big one too. Like, don't wait till you're in the middle of a pressure moment. Choose who you are. Like, pre-decide things. And I've actually heard Chris Hodges talk about that many times. Like, he pre-decides, based off of that. Practice transparency. You don't have to tell everyone everything, but someone needs to know. But someone needs to know everything. Just being transparent, vulnerable. Make integrity part of your culture. If in your team, your family, or organization. Reinforce integrity daily, not a one-time decision. It's just a daily practice. He said, remind yourself every morning, today I will be the same person in every room. Put a post-it on your mirror, set a reminder on your phone. And then lastly, just lead by example. Nothing undermines our lives like double standards and hypocrisy. If you're in a position of, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say just this last sentence. If you're in a position of leadership, know that people are watching, not just what you say, but how you live. Your example sets the tone.
Yeah. And honestly, this would be a great checklist if you're bringing somebody into your life or into your world, because what I thought of when I was looking at this was, I had to learn the lesson that a person's personal life is autobiographical. In other words, your business and your personal,
Oh, yeah.
they're the same.
Yep.
And I guess in my naiveness when I was a young leader was, yes, I see this person doing things out of integrity in their personal life, but they're going to have integrity in business. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds silly that someone wouldn't see that, but I was so naive in my leadership. I just closed my eye to what they were doing personally, even though I didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
I just let it be over there, and it was just a matter of time before it imploded.
I think in not to like make an excuse, but when the person appears to have talent, that can be easy to do.
Oh yeah, you can make excuses for their lack of integrity.
Big time, because they are talented, or they're producing, or they have results. I see that a lot. And I can just think back to times, and it can be easy to make excuses for them, or for the situation, at least.
Yeah. But I tell you, every time I've ever done it, it backfired.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm writing that down. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I love that. He said, just remember, if you cut corners, other people will too. If you own your mistakes, keep your word, and live consistently, you'll create an environment where integrity is the standard. Building a strong legacy doesn't demand perfection, but it does demand accountability. And of course, I totally thought of Mo like so many times when I was reading this chapter. It just is like, her life on paper. But you think about people, but I love what he said in the legacy letter. A divided life is an exhausting life, and I know it because I've lived it. And if you think about it, it is, and it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was interviewing Mo, and I was asking her, like, how did you know how to handle some of those really tough situations that you were giving?
Yeah.
She said, everything runs through my values. When your values are right, you don't question what's the right thing to do or how to do it. That was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I guess that's what he says about deciding in advance. Like, if you know your values, then you already decide in advance your choices are going to align with your values. So I guess that's probably what she meant by that, because he said character isn't built in the moment, it's revealed there. And I always think, like, in a really high pressure moment, I just hope that I would come out as my values and not as a, angry or upset or whatever.
Yeah. And something that the pastor said today when I was listening to the podcast is, it's not that you, once you become a Christian, that you actually stop messing up. It's just you're convicted with it quicker.
That's so true.
And so I think we're all going to have something where we would be embarrassed if somebody, hurt us, lose our temper or whatever. I remember being on an interview one time when the first question the girl asked me was something about mine and Jimmy's, marriage or whatever. And I said, oh yeah, that one, I just threw a water bottle at him at the thing. Now, I hadn't done it in years, but something just, it it didn't break, and it wasn't a glass one. You know what I'm saying though? I literally just threw it at him. And I just died laughing because I said, "Oh, that one, that great marriage." And I've not done that in years, but I just felt better to go ahead and tell him. Yeah, that one. I mean, he dodged the door. Thank God it didn't hit him. I said, I'm really glad because I have this really pretty glass door in my office. I'm really glad I didn't break it.
You said I felt better. Just go ahead and get it out.
I did. I just said, well, let me just be honest here. That one, that great marriage. I said, the good thing, and I said this to Anna the other day. I said, the funny thing, I said, here's when you know you finally gotten to a good place in your marriage. It's not that you don't have a little tiff or whatever. It's you're over it in 5 minutes and laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you just don't harbor it or hang on to it.
So good.
In a few minutes, it was teasing Press the other day. I said, oh yeah, I think your dad and I are divorced. And, and he's like, what? And then I said, no, seriously, we did have a tiff, but in a few minutes, we're laughing about it. That's how you know the difference. Used to, it would have taken me days to get over some of that stuff. I would still be mad.
It's so true. I know. I love it.
But yeah, I love it. A divided life is an exhausting life. Man, just make your load lighter. That's kind of what I think about with Fierce when it says do the tough thing first.
Yeah.
Because your load just gets lighter if you just go ahead and confess it and somehow maybe just have somebody that you can confide in to say, this is something I really struggle with. I really wish I didn't say this or act this way or whatever. I mean, I think all those things really help. And I think we all have something. None of us have a life that you could carry a camera around with us all the time and look at it.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is how quickly do we get convicted with it? And how quickly do we go, I don't gotta, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. I don't want to say that or do that or whatever.
Yep. I love that. Yeah. And I love make your load lighter. I haven't heard that in a long time. That's just such a great reminder.
Something they said today too, between the difference between a peacemaker and a peacekeeper, is a peacemaker looks the other way, like we just talked about, and a peacekeeper brings it out in the open. And the pastor, my pastor, said they were just out to dinner with somebody, and somebody made a comment to his wife that just it made all of them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I know that's not who he is. So he called him the next day and asked him to come meet with him. So I think that's the difference too, is, a peacemaker just looks the other way because they don't want to, but a peacekeeper actually steps into something, especially with somebody that they know normally would have integrity.
Yeah.
And that's not how they would normally act, and at least bring it to the surface.
I love that, because anybody could say something and not mean it the way that, they could come out wrong or whatever. I mean, gosh, I do that all the time.
I used to say, Press only walks in the room when I say something ugly to you, because Press has always been our peacemaker and our harmony guy. And I'm like, but you don't see what he just. So finally I just had to learn, okay, I just got to quit saying things that I don't want Press to walk in the room and hear me say to his dad, because I run hotter,
Yes.
if something gets me, I go at it quick, and Jimmy's just calm. And I said, why is it Press only walks in the room when I just said something ugly to you? When I said all the other nice things, Press, wait, see, catch your dad doing something.
Jimmy's just getting lucky.
Well, first of all, he's lucky because he don't have anything he doesn't that he says, normally. Well, I guess maybe there's a few times, but not really, not like I've had in my past, and probably still will have at least one or two times in my future.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny. Well, these are great ones. So just something for everybody to think about. Gratitude principle. How can you view, not maybe not enough, but already blessed, and then your glass house principle. Just being the same person, living with integrity, or then feeling convicted if you don't.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have to bring this up because you and I were texting the other day as we close out here on these two principles. Because I said, and by the way, several people reached out to me and said they loved the bucket list that we talked about.
Me too.
And so I texted Dana the other day and said, oh my gosh, I wish I had never said that on there. That was on my bucket list. And I knew if I ever got it out of my mouth, this was going to be bad about the jumping out of the airplane. So Jean, my friend from Utah, texts me a video of her jumping out of an airplane. She goes, "Oh, I heard you want to jump out of the airplane. I'll do it with you." And next time we're in San Diego, let's go in a day early. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to jump out of this stupid airplane.
Oh my God. I know.
And then I text Dana, and Dana goes, "I'm not that good of a friend."
I bet she's a way better friend than me.
Yeah. So be careful what you tell people you're going to do.
Linda, when you sent that video, I had been leaving. I was trying to get to the airport and get on my plane, and the flights were messed up. But then I ended up finally watching it on the plane, and I was like, oh my God, I got to stop watching them and get vertigo because I'm already up here. And she was like spiraling down from the thing, and I was like, oh, what? No, it's a no.
Yes.
Jean would be the perfect person for you to jump out of a plane with.
Yes, apparently she is my jump out of a plane buddy.
Oh my gosh. Did you also tell her, you have to tell her my response, and I really meant it. I was like, she's just so cool. Like, she just is so cool.
She is cool. So be careful what you say out loud on the podcast if it's on your bucket list and you really want to do it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'll maybe fly in and take pictures of y'all like when you get close to the ground, but that's about it.
Oh, awesome. All right. Remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can pay Dana and I are two things. One, give us a review so other people can find us that don't know us. And second of all, unless you didn't like it, don't give us that review.
Yeah.
But give us a good review. And then pass this podcast along to anybody that you think that would enjoy our conversations. If you have a challenge, a question, a guest that you would like to see us bring on the podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Dana, I guess I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Yep.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.